Whew, my God, it has been a bitch to get started, but we're here. Let's fucking go. Did you just fucking throw up?
Yeah, how can you tell? Yeah, well, at least she didn't have to cook fried chicken and a hamburger patty before coming on.
Fuck you.
I'm even wearing my Kentucky Fried Chicken shirt because I had to do fried chicken. No, Coco's on her
Time of the
last
month.
leg of her life. No, last leg of her life. She's not going to be around much longer. She hasn't eaten like 3 days, 2 days, something like that.
Yeah.
Couldn't get her to eat, and I tried to do dog food, scrambled eggs, hamburger, and then finally, whenever I did fried chicken, I had to sit down at the table, act like I was eating, and then she came over to me. I got her to come over to me. I got her to start eating it, and then after that, I got her to eat it. But I was like, shit.
Yeah. That's sweet. She's a sweetheart, man.
Yeah, she's old dog. You know,
Um,
that's going to be hard whenever she's probably the best dog we ever had. My kids are going to be way crushed about that one.
nah, we kind of had the same thing, when we were in England. Our dog, Riley, we had two dogs in New Mexico before we PCS to England, right? We had
Mm-hmm.
a Roddy and a part pit bull. I say Roddy because we got him under the impression that he was a full blooded rat, but when he got older, it was clear that he wasn't. But
Mm-hmm.
he was a best dog I ever had, absolutely best dog I ever had. Um, then when we got orders, um, the little one that we had that was part pit bull, UK has a full ban on pit
Oh
bulls.
yeah, yeah.
And so we had to rehome her. She went to a great home with one of my old troops. They love her. They have two other small dogs that are just like around her size. So she's in a very great place. He went to my Aunt Carrie because her son, my cousin Braden, who has, they used to call it Asperger's, but now it's called type 1 autism now. Like they don't call it Asperger's anymore. Um, and Riley had a natural thing about him. It was like a therapy type dog, right? Because some dogs have that natural thing about them, right? Like some dogs, like not every dog can be trained to be a type of canine. Not every dog can be a bomb dog. They had like they go through training, and a lot of those dogs fail out, because they just can't catch
Yeah.
on to it, right? Like they had like so. And then just like when it comes to like actual registered therapy type dogs that like go through that tons and tons of expensive training, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them can make it through that to go to get registered, right? um but then they have similar type training that you can take your dog to, like through Petco and all those other ones. Again, it doesn't lead them to be a registered therapy animal, but it gives them similar types of training to help with those similar types of situations, right? And when we got orders over there, um, given that he had that natural trait about him, we were like, hey, would you like to take him? And I was like, the only thing is like, this is what we're offering. You take him, but we want you to do this to help Braden, like to go take him to classes because he has this natural trait about him. We think he could help Braden a lot. and she followed through with it and took and had him go taking him to class to a bunch of classes and everything like that. And the only thing that sucked is that he by the time we gave Riley to Braden, he was already 7. So
Oh shit.
he only got a few years, right? He didn't get like a longer time. But those few years, he was phenomenal and he helped him so much, like a lot. Like whenever he started to get to that point where like he would have like an episode, Riley would be right there, like calming him down, and it genuinely you could see it genuinely helped him a lot. And while we were over in England, uh, Riley got cancer in his hip, and
Mm.
there's as much as you want to just give your life savings up to save your pet, unfortunately, at some points, like there's just so much you can do, right? Um, he was miserable. He couldn't walk. His leg was and hip and was rotting away. Carrie doesn't have that kind of money to do anything. Um, so they put him down, because it was for his betterment to ease the suffering. But he was 10 years old. He had a good long life, and it just sucked because we had to FaceTime to say goodbye, and the kids still remembered him and everything. Um, but that was rough, even from overseas. And the couple of times when we came home and we would be there to go see him, it was so great to see him because of course he remembered us. We got him when he was a puppy and raised him and everything. But it was good to be able to for him to be able to help my cousin that much in just a few years. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, DJ's always had seizures. You know what I mean? Like since he was young, um, whether it's from the hypoglycemia or whatever it is, But Coco and we had another one dog that was really good for DJ. Anytime he'd have we call it an episode, not a seizure, but anytime he'd have an episode, you know, them dogs would be up his ass. You know what I mean? They would be trying to cuddle him, trying to be all over him, checking on him. And, Coco's probably been the best about it over the years. Like, whenever I say good dog, she is the best fucking dog I think I've ever, ever owned. You know what I mean? And,
and I remember Toby,
um,
and I love that dog.
well, Toby lived to be 22 years old.
And what's funny is we have a small one, right? Like we have not a Rottie, we have a big English Lab, the dumbest dumb dog you've ever seen, right? And then we have a German Shepherd, and
Yeah.
he's 12. And we have a little mutt. And I was like, that dog is going to outlive us because small dogs don't die. They just live
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I remember when you first got him, like he's so small. And then
Yeah.
up until
Toby.
I
Yeah.
was in high school, living when we were in Roman Forest, that fucker was still alive, just dragging along. I was like, Jesus Christ, that dog is
Yeah.
old.
So we got Toby whenever I was, God, I don't remember. I was little, and he was a miniature Dotson and a Winnie dog, and dog was freaking amazing. He's super smart. And I left for the army. I left for the army, and he was still with my parents, and all the way to the time I got out of the army, and I think I was living in Colorado at the time, maybe, whenever, my mom called me and was like, Toby passed away. And, you know, that's that's a long time, you know what I
that
mean?
that
Like,
hits. That hits. Yeah.
mhm. But I think this one's gonna be probably the hardest one. Like, I called Ashley earlier to have a conversation with her about it because, about when we talk to the kids, and she didn't answer, so I called DJ and I'm like, "Hey, where's your mom at?" And he's like, "She's right next to me." I was like, "Tell her to call me. I need to talk to her." And he's like, "This is about Cecilia's birth. What's it about?" I was like, "Nothing. It's what I need to talk to your mom about."
Do what I tell
And
you,
he's like, "It's
motherfucker.
yeah." And he's like, "It's about Cecilia's birthday." I'm like, "No, bro." And he's like, "It's about Coco, isn't it?" I was like, "Yeah," because I don't lie to him. And he's like, "No." And I'm like, "No, not yet. She didn't die." He's like, "You're putting her down, aren't you?" I was like, "No." I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I need to talk to your mom a little bit. So then Ashley called me and me and her were talking about it, but like it's, figure out, if I end up putting her down, do I take the kids with me? If she passes away and sleep one night, which like last night I didn't go to bed till 4 in the morning because all night I felt like it was gonna be last night. I just kept getting out of bed, going and looking on her. I'd pet her and then go back to lay down and um
They I don't know how if your mom described how Toby went, but, do you remember Chewy when we were with JD, in Roman
yeah, yeah,
Fort?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
little Chihuahua.
Mhm.
Because after my mom and him got divorced, Chewy stayed with him, and he lived for quite a long time, obviously, because little dogs live forever. Um,
Mhm.
when he passed, because dogs they know when they're going, like they know, like
Yeah.
they literally know right up until the point they're going to pass away. And what he did is Chewy, like, he got up from wherever he was and he went to his little bed, his little cage bed. He went in there and he just turned around, laid down, and that was it. Like she's gonna
Mhm.
go to her comfort spot when it's time. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
even if she's asleep like by the bed, she will get up and like go to somewhere that is her known comfort spot, and that's where she'll go.
Yeah. Which, like Ashley was telling me a minute ago, she's like, "Have you taken her on a ride lately?" And I was like, "No." And, Ashley's like, "You might want to take her on a ride," because she loved being in the truck. Like, whenever, you know, hell, she used to travel with me all the time. You know what I mean? And hell, she's seen a lot of places and, I don't know, that's gonna be a rough one. But speaking about fucking training animals, this goddamn new Nile monitor sucks.
You're
This little
fucking lizard.
Yeah, this Nile monitor's an asshole. Like, growls at me, tries to bite me. Like,
What'd you
I put him in the
expect?
back.
You bought an apex predator essentially.
Well, yeah. And I've got a funny thing about it, and I'll tell you in a second. So one of the tricks that you can do to them is called water training them. They are arboreal, semi-aquatic animals.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
love water. They're great at swimming. So for anyone that doesn't know, it looks like a prettier Komodo dragon. They get to be about 6 foot long. Um, Pretty big animal.
The
So
Komodo is the larger of the 2, right? The
yeah, yeah,
monitor stays smaller. I mean, it gets big, but it's smaller than the
yeah.
dragon.
Yeah, yeah. So the Nile monitor is from Africa, and it's a little bit smaller. So it's funny because the Nile monitor, there's videos and all this shit of it, where a pride of lions will come up to try to eat a Nile monitor, and they're afraid of. 'Em. They will run away from them. Leopards will run away from them. So they do a tail whip. They bite. They're mean. But so funny story about these little dinosaur motherfuckers. Did you know that a full grown so Jurassic Park didn't do the Velociraptor properly. The Velociraptor is
No, it's a
actually
very Hollywood
yeah.
dramatized thing.
So the Velociraptor is actually the exact same size as a non-monitor.
Yeah, but it walks differently, but size-wise, yeah.
These little fuckers walk standing up sometime. Like
Yeah,
it crawls
sometimes, but
and then
I'm
it's
saying, yeah. But size-wise comparison, yeah, but I'm saying
yeah.
just the natural walking capability is what's
Mhm.
different.
Yeah. But yeah, no, they say that this is one of the smartest monitor lizards there is. They also say it's the hardest monitor lizard to keep, you know what I mean? Just because of how mean they are. They're so fucking hard to train. And he's such a fucking asshole. But he's cool. DJ wanted him, so DJ got him. It was either that or another or a venomous snake, and the venomous snake that they didn't have it in, so they've got a clutch that had just been born, and we would have had to wait, a couple months before getting one. So I'll probably end up with one of those snakes too.
Yeah. Um, so you know how you go on your irresponsible purchases sometimes?
All the time because I'm
So
frugal.
Fuck you. Um, I got one.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's real nice.
Yeah, got it from Amazon.
That's an Amazon knife?
Hmm. And it's got a flint too.
Really?
Yeah,
How much was that?
you know, it was like $40.
That is not bad at all.
Yeah, nice beveling and everything. It's full length tang,
Oh, that is
sh-
nice.
sharp as shit.
Chinese steel or American steel?
From what I read, I believe it is American. I'm not 100% sure though. But it had great reviews. Like I said, it's very strong. It's very sharp.
I like that.
Yeah.
And that's not really an irresponsible purchase. Like my purchases are irresponsible. Like
No,
my
I
purchases are
I need
fucking
I needed a new EDC knife, so
I know, but like a $40 purchase isn't irresponsible. Like,
no. But even Destiny was like, "You know how many knives you have?" I was like, "Yeah, but I wanted another knife. So what was the
yeah,
problem?"
so I carry my Benchmade everywhere. Like that's the only one I need.
I carry my multi tool everywhere. So
Oh yeah. Which I like this one because it's got the fucking gut hook on it.
yeah, I want to get a different Leatherman. I want to get the Leatherman where on the knife portion it has the gut hook. This one I have doesn't. I mean, I love the one I have. I literally I virtually use it every single day, so I get my
Oh
fucking
yeah.
money's worth out of it. But I want to get a different one that has the knife with the gut hook. That's probably like one of the few things that I don't have. But what I really love is the extension right here. But it's a ratchet, so it makes it
Oh no
easier.
shit.
It makes it easier to use the screws on it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
I do like that one.
fuck yeah,
I
man.
haven't used I haven't used a multi tool since the army. I say that, which I used to have a badass Gerber. It was the slide through Gerber, the one where the pliers slide
Yeah,
into and it slide.
I I got issued God knows how many of those.
Oh yeah, yeah. Our supply guy. Every time we'd want new shit or we get cool shit.
I got
If you're
I got
cool with the
issued those
supply
and I
guys,
and I issued them out. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Which I will say, I still think to this day, my favorite thing to get from supply was when we get those waterproof pens and waterproof paper in the
yeah,
nice zipper fucking thing. Bro, those are fucking, I used to love them fucking things.
yeah,
And
they're
Oakleys. I've gone through so many Oakleys, it's
yeah, the Oakleys.
ridiculous.
They're it's a type of like oil pencil pen. That's why it's able to go through like
The water.
survive water and stuff like that. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
Um,
We used to get those all the time and fucking, yeah, I use the shit out of them.
yeah. But bro, I know we've talked a little bit about it, but I've been devoting my last 3 days to include today watching live the pretrial for Tyler Robinson. Um, and Jesus Christ, man, it's a lot of it is stuff that we already know, obviously,
Hmm.
because there's been a lot that's put out there, but there's been quite a bit of stuff that we haven't seen before. To be fair, because in it's one of those things of like you expect to see things that you haven't seen because in in defense of let's play devil's advocate. Tyler Robinson is 100% guilty. Everything that they say about him is true. In defense of everything, you want to make sure that you don't know everything because that biases a jury pool, right? Like that that
Hmm.
that protects the integrity for a fair and balanced trial. That's what you want in a good court system, But for the most part, a lot of the stuff that you've seen, they're bringing up and they're talking about, probable cause admittance and everything like that, right? But then you have a lot of stuff that we haven't seen and haven't heard and whatnot, and more stuff that brings into a point of like, um, I thought we were supposed to get some smoking guns by now. We're on day 3, and we these smoking guns or this mountain of evidence. We're pretty much on a molehill for the most part. Um, I just not seeing it. You know what I mean? And it's been quite comical, to be honest, because then you have you know the MAGA cult in full force on their totally organic and definitely not organized. The overwhelming evidence is just going to convict and put them away. And it's just like, you guys realize that 99% of everything that has been put in has been under the Utah law and code of reliable hearsay, which is bullshit. But I mean, that's the law in Utah, and it's the law in some other states. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. It's to me, whenever you look at what they're saying and what they're doing, it's honestly setting everything up for either a mistrial or a hung jury. You know, I don't think that they're putting anything out there that's convictable. Look, we were talking about it earlier. Them finding that other round, that 5.56 on a different
Two
rooftop,
two three.
be same fucking round. 223, fine, whatever.
There's a clear difference.
I
Uh,
know, but
whenever we're getting out specific. So it
okay,
was identified
semantics.
as a 223 round
Okay, semantics. 223. Okay, that's fine. Um, yeah, so they find a 223 as that was a non-spent round, that was an ejected round on a different rooftop.
it was on the computer and science building specifically. I know I said the science, but like it's identified as a computer and science building.
Is that one to the front right?
I
Over
I
by where the
so
cafeteria was?
so I'm honestly not sure, and I know they kind of explained it, but I don't know. But I don't know the campus like by knowledge.
Yeah.
So like I'll have to go back and try to reference it from how they explained it and then look at the map. But
Mhm.
but but when you look at it, even if you look at the path of how he ran,
Yeah.
it's not like he like happened to cross by that roof. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And again, we're looking at a 30 out 6 that was said to be shot, not a 223 or a 556 or anything else, right? But now we
Yeah.
have an ejected round that was unfired um, on a, on a completely different building,
Yeah.
and and the reason they're giving is ridiculous. The reason they're giving is that it was another officer that cleared his weapon to put it in a ready safe status. So when he cleared his weapon, he ejected the round and then just left it there.
Yeah, that
That's the reason they're giving, which
yeah,
is
I know,
like
but it's
such
straight bullshit.
bullshit. I
Oh
know
yeah.
it like because I've been watching live on Valhalla VFT with Trigger Smart, Jesse on Fire, and a few other guys, and Nate from Valhalla. He's addressed this multiple times because he's like, unless this is a very specific retarded fucking practice to the Utah, uh, like UVU campus or Orem, whoever that quote unquote law enforcement officer
Mm,
was, no other law enforcement office
yeah.
in the entire country that is respectable with good training would ever do that. They would just put it
Oh
on
yeah.
regular safe with a round in the chamber ready for shit to go down. Or if
Yeah.
they happen to have cleared their chamber, they don't leave their spent round on the fucking ground.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, and here was, we were talking on earlier, and here's my thought. So the moment they get out of their office, I'm sorry, there's patrol car, squad car, whatever you want to call it, their office. The moment they get out, they're hot. So they're not going to walk around without one in the pipe. They're going to have it on safe. They're going to go. They're not going to clear that rifle until they get back to their vehicle. they're gonna get in the
Vehicle or
vehicle.
turning their weapons to the armory if they don't take it home.
Yeah. Well, they're once they get in the vehicle, they're actually going to go cold. So that's when they're going to drop their mag. They're going to clear it. They're going to take that round. They're going to put it back in the magazine. They're going to put the magazine back in and lock it. Lock their slide to the rear. So then they're going to put it in. So most of them have a lockable, I guess, gun rack right behind them for one shotgun and for the whatever the assault rifle that they're using. Either that
Yeah,
or they're going to put it in the trunk. But nowadays they're putting them right in between the driver and the passenger seat. So there's no reason he would have been in a hot zone, so out of that vehicle with his assault rifle and not being hot. There's absolutely no fucking reason why. So,
yeah.
you
It's
know, and then
the reason they're giving is so absurd on its face. Like, I mean, the it I don't understand how. I mean, I get how people who don't know any better are going to buy it, but it's just ridiculous. There was so much more that came from these 3 days so far that leaves you
mhm,
in.
exactly what I thought. Hold on, before you say anything else.
Okay,
So that was a 223, right?
yeah,
Law enforcement does not use 223 for live ammunition. They use that maybe for training, but their duty ammunition is a 5.56.
okay. I mean that makes sense. Don't get me wrong, um, but it was just interesting, that was the reason they gave. You know what I mean? But aside from all of that, just from that notion, right? Um, because I'm going through the transcript from day one here right now. Um, there's just so much more that came from this. Let me go here for the first part here, right? Um, so from day one, the interviewing the first cop. Um,
Mhm.
this was the cop that was when you look at the overhang behind Charlie, right? There was a video going around like, where's this cop? He was there. He should have been able to see the roof. Well, this is the cop that is coming on as a quote unquote star witness. Um, they interviewed him first, right?
Y-
And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so, and this is a rough transcript from one of the YouTube videos that only that live streamed only what was happening in the courtroom. There was no extra commentary, so it's like the YouTube video interpreting it, right? Not right. But for the most part, it is correct. Let me see here. Uh, apparently, this officer doesn't work at UVU anymore, so that's also interesting.
Hmm.
Christopher Bagley. Yeah, Officer Christopher Bagley.
Okay.
So he's Spanish Fork Police Department.
Okay. So David Hull is the other one that they had on the stand.
I think that's the
He's a Utah
that's,
State Bureau of
yeah, the
Investigators.
SBI. That's the second guy. Yeah, so this is the
Okay.
first guy,
Yeah.
Christopher Bagley, um, who was the Spanish Fork cop. Um, so check this out. At an hour and 40 minutes and 56 seconds, approximately, because I'm sure the court transcript will show differently than what the YouTube transcript will say, right? It says, my Chief Long, that was right next to me. I looked down uh, and saw an empty pistol holster that was sitting just on top of the grass. And at the moment, things had died down just a split second. I realized that the shot I heard was more of a rifle shot and not a pistol shot. And then the defense attorney says, "What causes you to say that?" He responds, "Just from being around firearms through all my training. The difference is, a handgun is more of a short bang pop sound. With a rifle, you have more of a longer violent bang or crackle sound. It's more of a violent kind of a sound. It's longer. So that's when I realized it. And then the uh, defense said, "Okay, is a is a rifle sound louder typically?" He said, "Yes." That's what caused him to overlook an empty pistol holster in the atrium because he was like, you know what? That sounded like a rifle. So I'm going to disregard this empty pistol holster right in front of me, not secure it, not make sure that it doesn't go anywhere for further investigation because
Yeah, and
because
no
of a
one
snap
even
crackle pop, Rice Krispie treat ass looking motherfucker.
yeah, he's an idiot. Um, and no one put it into evidence. Look,
Nope.
regardless if it came from a rifle or a handgun, it should have gone into evidence. It was a something that could be evidence. It was left behind, just like there's also the backpack that they found the handgun in. Look, all that shit should have been taken into evidence, but especially that damn empty holster. Now, I was reading earlier that holster was found within a 10 to 30-foot proximity to where Charlie was killed, is what I was reading earlier. Like,
I don't remember the range. I just know it was significantly closer.
yeah, I saw that it was found on those steps right in front of Charlie.
Not in
So,
front
and it,
is if from Charlie's view, it was to the right side.
yeah, I know, but that's
Yeah,
in
but
front of him,
but
not
in
to his
front
rear.
in front, but it was to the front right.
Yeah, but it was said it was between 10 and 30 foot to Charlie's proximity was the estimated range of where that holster was. That's
Yeah,
close range, bro.
that's close. Don't get me wrong. It's just it's retarded that he was just like, nah. That I just think it sounded like something else. So I'm just going to disregard this empty gun holster right in front of me.
Yeah, that's whether that's bad training, that's bad policy, that's bad. I don't even know what to say. That's just negligent. That's straight fucking negligent.
Dumbassery is what it is.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hence why I'm saying they're looking for either a mistrial or this motherfucker straight get off. Like, do I think he did it? No, but
I mean, I'm still of the firm belief that he's a patsy.
I agree. Yeah, yeah,
Like whether it's a kind of like a willing participant in something that he believed was different, or an unwilling participant, and now he's kind of getting railroaded. That's to be determined. It's
yeah,
the determination of whether or not his involvement is not necessarily like, yeah, there's some involvement obviously because he's being railroaded into this, so the involvement
hmm,
is clear.
yeah,
What type of involvement is the question.
yeah. My question is: remember that other fucker, that George, whatever, that got arrested?
George Zinn,
No,
who is now currently sitting in jail and can't be questioned because they found child on his phone, and therefore he's kind of off limits right now.
yeah. I wonder how close that holster was to his proximity.
It's a good question. And well, I mean, I don't. So it's a good question of how close. I don't. How close, and I'm gonna distinct that I don't think he probably had it or anything like that because there's clear video from what I remember of him immediately standing up, going like, I did it." So like he didn't have a chance, like any chance of like to drop it or get rid of it. You know what I mean? Because then he like also dropped his fucking pants because he's a weirdo. So
Look at my dick.
well, he just dropped his pants to his underwear, just
Yeah,
like again on the shock value, but it was just like, wow, really?
that's kind of G though.
Well, then he was also happened to be there during 9/11,
And
the
what was it?
Boston bombing.
Oh, Boston. Okay, yeah,
It was either
Boston bombing.
Boston or Oklahoma, one of those two. I can't remember which
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was Boston, but he's just
It
like,
might have been.
why do you happen to be at all these events?
Yeah, yeah. Like someone's gonna make a fucking like TV series, like one of these people that have premonitions that fucking dream about shit, then they just show up at it. Like, fuck.
I'm looking at I'm looking through this transcript because there was another part when Officer Bagley was making his way to go up to the roof on top of the Losi Center where the shot allegedly came from. He ran into this plainclothes person who had a gun and a badge, didn't verify or try to really identify the person. He just saw that this person had a gun and saw what looked to be a badge, but didn't verify who this person was. It was just like, cool, bro, follow me and help me secure the area. And still doesn't know who this person is to this day. What the fuck is that?
You would think that they'd go through all the surveillance footage from UVU's atrium and look for where he was, and at the point that he found this other individual, whether it's a cop or whatever it is, and try to figure out who the fuck it is, and then ultimately subpoena this person. But and here's one thing that, if you think about crime, how many times do we see or hear it over and over again that, like, when a serial killer or something like that commits a crime, they end up putting themselves in the middle of the investigation, acting like they're helping the investigators to steer them off the right course. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, look here. You got two plainclothes guys. One just happens to have a badge and a gun. We don't know who the fuck these guys are. Like, why were they there? You know?
Yeah, who are them fucking dudes?
Exactly. So begs the question is like, if there were feds there, why?
Hmm.
Just like, why were there so many feds there in
Yeah.
January 6th? You know?
Yeah, looks like a inside job to me. Well, then I was just reading right before we came on this that Joe Kent was, talking about wanting to testify in Tyler Robinson's defense. Like, why the fuck is that? Like, what does he know?
I'm sure he knows quite a bit given that, he had access to a lot of different type of information he could get to before he resigned.
Yeah. People don't usually resign from cush ass jobs like that without some sort of fucking reason. And if it's a, moral stance of shit that he saw or he couldn't be involved with, like, that's fucking very understandable,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and it's still insane that he was shut down by the FBI from looking into foreign involvement. It's like, why?
which makes me think that there was foreign involvement,
Yeah, when you're deliberately stopped from looking at something for whatever reason, then it's like, cool. Now everybody suspects that there is that reason now.
yeah.
You didn't help your case at that point.
Oh yeah. And like I said earlier today when you and I were talking, like, with all the conspiracy theory around this and all the bullshit, like, it it would be very easy, depending on how Tyler Robinson's defense goes. Either they're going to get him off, or he could really fuck shit up, and he could stand up and be like, you know what, an agent of a certain state overseas is who, you know contacted me, that I was having conversation with, and he told me to be in this area at this time. Like, I wasn't on that roof, but I was in the area, and it was this other country's people, and then everyone would be like, "See, we told you it's fucking, a certain blue starred country." You know what I mean?
The Lone Star Tick.
Yeah. Like, they could really fuck up with conspiracy theories.
So here's another part. At 2 hours, 47 minutes, and 29 seconds, the defense attorney asked Officer Bradley, did you have any Provo police or Orem police or anyone that you knew of federal agencies? I don't know. You never saw any that day? No, not until the response came in. And did you mention, I think you heard just a few minutes ago testify, you turned over this scene on the roof to a woman who was a deputy sheriff, right? Yes. So he wasn't aware of anything, but then we see what clearly looks like to be some feds there that I just showed.
Hmm. Are they going to call them on the stand for probable cause?
I haven't heard anything from witnesses. Only witnesses I've heard from federal agencies were the well, not the SBI because that's state. the FBI lab that ran the DNA, they questioned that person, and then the defense is bringing up the ATF for the gun ballistics. So,
which are
but
inconclusive.
yeah, which I'm guessing that's what they're going to do because then the FBI ran their fucking thing. So it's like, well, hold up, you had the ATF already running. Why are you having the FBI fucking run it?
They're going to make a mockery of the judicial system.
To be fair, though, I remember when we started all this, we were looking at the Google Trends of everybody, and then the judge was one that came up on the Google Trends, right?
Yeah.
He's actually been, I think, extremely, extremely fair and just in everything. Just to be fair, like as of right now, but again, this is pre-trial, obviously. Um, so far, I haven't seen anything that makes me question otherwise. He's been, I think, just as so far, I haven't seen anything that makes me question it. And I think he's been extremely fair.
Unless the point of it is to get Robinson off.
I mean, who knows? But I'm just saying, at this point, I haven't seen anything that makes me question, you know, his ability to judge so far,
Yeah.
which I was expecting the opposite.
Yeah.
Because as much as I hate the whole reliable hearsay, he's admitting it because it is the law in Utah, so it's like you don't expect him to not do it, because it is the law and he has to follow the law. Now when it gets that's just for pre-trial for probable cause, which is what it applies to. When it gets to court, that's a different story. It doesn't necessarily apply at that point because you'll need the actual source to do it. This reliable hearsay only applies to probable cause for pretrial. It
Yeah.
doesn't apply to court. So
So I saw something earlier, or maybe it was yesterday, and I didn't look into it just because I was busy. I was reading that apparently the feds didn't want to pick up the case against Tyler Robinson. It was the state that actually forced the case against him. Did you see anything about that?
I haven't seen anything. It'd
Yeah,
be
I
interesting.
saw.
Um, here's another part of the transcript regarding that holster. Right, the defense uh talking to Officer Bagley about that holster. She said, "When you saw the holster, can you describe to me what it looked like?" Looked like. He said, "An empty concealed holster for what type of for a type of weapon pistol." She said, "Okay, did it have any markings on it?" He said, "Not that I noticed." She's like, "And what happened to that holster?" He says, "I have no idea." She said, did you ever take custody of it?" He said, "Nope." Like that's what he said. "Nope." "Did you ever tell anybody else to take custody of it?" "Nope." "You just left it on the grass?" "I did." "Was it ever fingerprinted to your knowledge?" "I have no idea." That is his response to an empty holster on the ground after an assassination.
That's fucking wild. Okay, so I grokked. I read that the feds didn't want to pursue charges on Tyler Robinson, but the state wanted to pursue charges. Is there any validity to this? It says this is partially validity due to claim, but it's not straightforward. And then in quotes, it says feds refused and pushed it to the state. The U.S. Department, the DOJ, and FBI has been involved since the beginning. They assist with forensic, DNA ballistics, via ATF, evidence analysts, and investigation. DOJ considered bringing federal charges, including under a novel legal theory, framing it as an anti-Christian hate crime, given Kirk's activism and Robinson's alleged motive tied to hatred. However, this faced internal resistance from some career prosecutors who argued the facts didn't clearly fit existing federal statutes. No federal charges have been filed as of the latest update, July 26. The case is primarily a state prosecution in Utah, where Robinson faces aggravated murder and other charges, with prosecuting seeking the death penalty. So the feds are not pursuing charges. They are it's going to be the state doing everything. But what I was reading earlier was that the feds turned down the case, and the state immediately just picked it up and said, we're going to pursue.
Okay.
It's all fucked.
Okay. So 4 hours, 8 minutes, 26 seconds. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the whole time that it was going on, you had an active body camera. Uh, is that right? He said, yes, it was on my chest. And she's like, okay. And it was on. He said, yes. It appears to me from reviewing your body camera that there was another individual who was with you when you went to the Losi building who was in civilian clothes but appeared to have a gun. Who was that? I don't know who he was. Who he was exactly. He had a badge on, and I had somebody with me to back me up as I ran up the stairs to make sure I had somebody with me. So you don't know what agency he's from or where he's from. No. And and he he had looked like he had a pistol. Yes? Is that right? A handgun? Yes. He did the trust me, bro, with a random guy in plain clothes with a pistol and a badge, but didn't confirm who he was.
That's fucking wild, bro.
And then furthermore, referring to the body cam, at 4 hours, 12 minutes, 23 seconds, your body cam from footage from that I reviewed appears to end while you're still on the roof. Do you know why that is? I think the battery went dead.
Did they forget to charge it the night before?
I don't know, but these body cams are designed to last more than an entire shift. So it's like, wow, really? You just happen to have a battery on their body cam that dies during one of the most important things that's happened in our lifetime? I think the average lifetime or battery, whatever, is like 14 hours before you need to recharge it.
17 hours. Body cams batteries generally last between 14 and 17 hours of continuous recording on a single charge. So the Axiom,
Yeah. Axiom.
Axiom or Axon Body 4 lasts 13 to 14 hours. The Provision Body Cam 4 lasts 14 hours of continuous recording. The Motorola VB 400 lasts 12 hours on one charge. The high capacity models can record from 13 to 17 hours on 1080p. Now, the mini spy cameras, if they're only using the mini spy cameras, which most of them don't, those go from 2 to 4 hours. But a lot of them now have a live streaming model that lasts 14 to 20 hours with those features.
That's interesting. I'm looking through David Hull's testimony right now because I know there's quite a bit in there I want to talk about.
What department did that cop work for?
The first one?
Yeah, the one that's body camera died.
Spanish Fork. Well, he works for Spanish Fork now, but at the time he actually worked for the UVU police department, if I remember correctly. At like currently right now during pretrial, he works for Spanish Fork. But at that time, I think he was actually a part of the UVU police department. I could be wrong. I would have to go back to the beginning and reread it, but I think that's what the timeline was from job to job.
Let's see if we can find this. Okay, so the Utah Valley University Police Department uses the Axon or the AXON body
Yeah,
camera.
Axon. Yeah.
Yeah, they use the Axon Body 4. So what was the? Let me see if that was on that list.
Spanish Fork. But yeah,
No,
Axon was one of the ones you said. It was the 14-hour time frame.
Hmm. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because at the end of every shift, whenever they turn in their kit, they have to put those body cameras. A lot of departments, they put them on the charger that downloads all the previous
Syncs all the
footage.
information. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. And David Hull, his testimony, like, God, dude, there's so much to it. And I think if I remember correctly, I think it continued into this morning. I can't remember, but I just remember there's so fucking much that from his specifically that was just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, or not this morning, yesterday morning, for day 2.
this shit's very weird. But what time in the morning did that happen? Did the shooting happen?
Oh, I think it was around 12:30 or something. I can't remember. You'll have to look it up. Like God, it's been so long. But it wasn't morning. It was like just afternoon. If I remember correctly. Again, I could be wrong, but I'm 99% sure it was like just afternoon.
So he probably had about 6 hours of
If he would
usage on that.
have been if it would have been charged.
No, I mean, like,
Like actually using it.
yeah, he would have had about 6 hours on it before it died.
Which, by the way, he testified that pretty much all of the UVU campus officers, they were there on overtime. It wasn't a regular scheduled shift. So they weren't there for 6 hours.
Oh, so he swung by, the office.
They came in there to get extra hours from overtime, which, lots of
Mhm.
cops do. Nothing strange about that. But that also means that he didn't even have like half of the battery life use. He probably didn't even have a quarter of the battery life use if it was actually fully charged.
Yeah, like, if he showed up there at, let's say, 10, 11, and it happened at 1.
I think if I remember correctly, he could and what he did say is that by the time he got there, um, he didn't go through like a morning, brief like most cops do, like, get together, morning
Mhm.
brief, here's what's going on. They have a big fucking event with a very important person
Yeah.
going on, right? He didn't even get there in time for that.
Hmm.
He had to immediately go start doing something else because it was already getting busy.
Interesting. Dude, I'm not even an attorney and I could fuck up this goddamn court. Look, here's the thing. They don't have to prove that Tyler Robinson's innocent. They have to prove that, or all they have to show is that there is reasonable doubt, and they're not going to convict. They have to, that's all that they have to do. They have to show the jury that there is reasonable fucking doubt. And there's too much reasonable doubt already. Like,
Definitely.
because here's the thing, even if they were to convict him because they get a biased jury pool, guess what? They're going to appeal the fuck out of it. Reasonable doubt. That's all they have to prove. And honestly, it's the prosecution showing reasonable doubt. It doesn't even have to be the defense. Like, this is fucked, bro. Like, they're not even talking about the fucking entry exit wound. They're not talking about like
They haven't
ballistics.
they haven't gotten there yet. I think that's going to be tomorrow. So
Yeah, but it's like, damn, bro.
yeah, so 12:23, I was right, is when the shot was taken. Hey, by the way, real quick, I actually wanted to start the show with this, but um got carried away with some fucking sad stories. I personally now am all in on the Superman neck theory.
Conspiracy
Cuz now this I think this video proves it. So,
theorists insist no 30-06 could possibly behave this way. The round blasted into Charlie Kirk's neck, crushed his vertebra, and ricocheted downward toward his heart, only to be stopped dead by his legendary Superman neck of super-dense steel-like bone. It created no exit wound and lodged harmlessly just beneath the skin, which experts hailed as a miracle that saved the bystanders standing behind him. Up on the rooftop, Tyler Robinson didn't just break down his rifle. He shredded it apart in a ridiculous hyperspeed blur using nothing but his bare hands. Then he sprinted across the roof and launched himself off the edge with expert parkour precision. Tyler made the conscious expert decision to reassemble his rifle one last time and place it under a tree in a bush. He then changed back into his blue jeans and maroon t-shirt in hyperspeed. Time for ice cream. While conspiracy
I mean, I just I feel so dumb now that I ever didn't buy the theory. I mean, it explained it so
Yeah.
perfect. I
Yeah.
mean, don't you feel stupid now?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Super fucking
A-
like
After
spot
seeing such a
on.
after seeing such a clear and concise explanation, now I know
Yeah.
that I was
Yeah.
wrong. The Superman neck theory
Oh yeah.
holds.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
Absolutely. Look, and we were talking about it earlier. The fact that they didn't find a spent casing from the round on the roof and that the casing was in the rifle in the woods. Like, I was thinking about it earlier. So, which, damn, I don't have a rifle in here right now. Um, hypothetically, okay, so he's on the roof, right? And he takes a shot. The first thing his hand's gonna do is he's gonna squeeze the trigger. The round's gonna go off. He's gonna follow that to the point of impact. But what his right hand's gonna do is it's gonna go up to the bolt. He's gonna hit the bolt, eject, pop forward, drop down, just in case he's gonna have to make another shot. Okay. Now he might have another live round in there for exfil to protect himself. Okay. Either that or if he's going to tear it down right there on the roof, that round's not going to stay in there. He's going to tear that rifle down and that spent casing's going to come out. So then he leaves the screwdriver on the roof, gets to the woods, reassembles and puts that spent casing back in. Like,
but how does he reassemble it with the screwdriver on the roof?
maybe he had like a multi-tool with him like you had.
But check this out. While I was watching the live stream today, a bunch of people were super chatting in and whatnot. Somebody super chatted in who has an FFL, a firearms license, right? He was saying that specifically for the 30-06 that is said to be used in this, right? The Mauser 30-06, that's old school, right? Not like a modern 30-06 that we know today, right?
Yeah.
That one specifically that they're saying that they need to use to break it down.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a flathead screwdriver like you would use from modern ones. It's a type of star Allen wrench.
Yeah.
They found a flathead screwdriver. So again, how does that work then? If this is the specific type of Mauser 30-06 that is being used and it needs a type of star Allen wrench to break it down and put it together, but then they found a flathead screwdriver that they're saying this is what we use to break down and put back together. How?
I don't know if that's accurate.
I'm just saying, and even them on the stream, they were like, we're not even 100% sure because they've never held one of those exact type of 30-06. They were it's just the super guy who did the super chat. He was saying, I'm an FFL licensed dealer. I have one of these and this is what it is.
I don't think that's accurate because that was like a 1960s rifle Mauser, right?
I don't know the year. I just know that they say it was a Mauser 30-06. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if so I'm sure that they know, but I don't know if it's been publicized specifically which one year or whatever like that. I just know they said it was an older one because it was his grandfather's.
Yeah.
But I don't know specifically the year and model. Let's just play confirmation bias here for a minute. I haven't honestly looked to see exactly what the model is. I just know Mauser 30-06 because that's what it's been touted as. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So did that have a composite stock or a wood stock? Do you remember?
Well, we haven't even seen pictures of the official rifle. The one that they showed a picture of was not the one that was used. I think the one that they're saying was used had a wood stock. I think. But the picture that was circulated was not the actual one.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So the one that they're saying that he used, or I'm sorry, the one that they showed pictures of that it circulated, that one may have used the T-series screws or Allen head screws. but I'm fairly confident the older models would have used a flathead, because I know like the older Savages use like a flathead, um, or did they use a Phillips? I can't remember. A Phillips or a flathead, I can't remember which one. But yeah. So
I was just bringing it up because like that is an interesting thing that it would be good to confirm. You know what I mean? What specifically is the one that they're saying was used? Like specifically which Mauser year and model and whatever, and then what is needed to break it down? Is it your typical flathead? If so, okay, then they can try to make the storyline up. If not, that is a big misstep in this trial.
yeah, let me look at something real quick.
You're looking that up. Um, I can't. I know it's in here, but this in the transcript. But here's what I'm talking about essentially in video format. Right now, that SBI detective. Remember, I was telling you this SBI detective was saying that they got ring cam footage from a civilian, a local at their house, catching what they believe to be Tyler Robinson's Challenger, Dodge Challenger, on camera, based off of the way it looks and quote unquote the distinctive wheels. That's what they're basing off of. Not because you can see the license plate on the camera, or you can 100% free and clear, no bullshit, see Tyler Robinson getting out of the car, but they see what they believe to be because of the shape and color and possibly distinctive wheels from this Ring doorbell camera, and they see a shadow of a person getting out of the car and getting in later. But they're putting this in as like, kind of like bombshell type evidence, right? But let me show you the video real quick, right?
Uh-huh.
So apparently, on the night of the shooting, Tyler Robinson was seen in a vehicle driven by a bald man and 3 other people. Take a listen.
I remember reading the report at some point, yes.
And do you remember that the Nobles told you that the driver of the vehicle was bald?
I do remember that being in the report, yes.
And you didn't mention that today when you were talking about that ring camera, did you?
I did not.
And did they also tell you there were 3 other people in the car?
Yes, I believe they thought that was the case.
This is by no means an allegation. I'm not insinuating anything other than here is a bald man with 3 other people. You know.
But yeah, aside from that, do you see the vehicle in it? Like, this is what they're saying. Look, that is Tyler Robinson's vehicle, based off of this middle of the night, dark ass, grainy Ring doorbell footage camera, right?
Yeah, that's.
But then, not to mention that the owner of the house said she believes that it was a bald white man driving with 3 other grown men in the vehicle. But then the SBI detective is saying like, nah, we think that could be Tyler Robinson's vehicle and Tyler Robinson driving. That just to me is just fucking insane. Like it's like they're trying to deliberately build a shitty case.
Yeah. No, I agree. So, okay, right here. This is what I was looking for.
And real quick, to go off of what we were talking about earlier, right? So here's the back side and screenshots from the stairwell after he is said to change his outfit, right? So on the right side, you see him in his maroon shirt, dark colored shorts. I don't know if it's dark blue or black, and his black hat with a dark blue backpack. And it looks like a JanSport. I'm only saying that because it has a nice little round patch right there, right? Then on the left side, you see what they're saying. This is after he changed. He has a completely different backpack. It's black, long black sleeves right now. Let's just look at the profile here. Look at the neck to shoulder drop ratio from here to here. This is not the same person. Look at that. Like, it just, it goes straight down versus you see a distinct muscle definition drop from neck to trap to shoulder over here on the right. And then on the left here, you just see neck slope down to shoulder with no muscle definition drop to a trap, right? Furthermore, now I'll give the benefit of the doubt that, yeah, these are grainy, shitty videos, but still, look at the hairline. Right here, you can kind of see where the hairline just tapers down into a clean fade across right here. Over here on the left, this is the same day, guys. Okay, this is not 2, 3 different days. This is the same day. Over here, look at this. The hairline comes down, curves back up, and then back down. This is not the same fucking person.
No, not at all. Yeah. Different hairline, different ears, different skin tone, different shoulder structure, different body type, different clothes. Like, there's nothing that would tell me that that's the same person. Like, I don't fucking see it at all. Not the least bit.
And then I just, and I called you and when I was talking on the phone earlier and I learned about this real time. Benefit of the doubt, I have to investigate more into this, but look at this. Look at the time lapse. 1:53:12 to 1:54:33. And then look, this car right here vanishes.
Yeah.
Right? And then still here. Right? You see a glitch, but like he doesn't move. It's a minute and it's like, I think it was 16 seconds missing right here, right? Now, here's another connection that somebody made based off of this. Look at this. Wait till it comes back. Look at this vehicle. It's a white SUV, mini SUV crossover, right? So wait for it to come back real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, right there. So you see that? You can kind of get a gist of kind of what it looks like right here, right? Now watch this. Look at that. Right here.
Yeah, this looks like the same vehicle.
This is the same vehicle that was driving off when he jumped off the building. And then we have a video. We have the video of him jumping off the building. Look. Shed. But real quick, because this is supposed to be like within, I think, 30, 45 seconds after the shot, right? People are still running, panicking, right? And this is gonna lead me in a direction that makes me almost conspiratorial. Okay. Now, in this video, they're gonna show what seems to be someone like disappearing, right? So you see, oh, look, it's Tyler Robinson running, blah, 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 right? And then right here, this person walking, like, disappears after this. You don't see him or her come over here. But then I'm also like, why is this guy walking so nonchalant and calm after a gunshot just railed off in this fucking campus?
Yeah, that shit's sketchy.
Does that make sense to you? First of all, you have another person walking chill, then another person walking chill, and somebody just died. It doesn't make sense. This is what leads me to believe in a little bit more conspiratorial manner that this whole video is fake and gay.
Yeah.
Just because if this is a true video that happened within 30, 45 seconds and he's running to jump off this building, right? Why are those two people in the background walking fucking chill? They would have heard this shot. And everybody else would have been running and panicking, in the area.
Yeah, screaming. Because remember when we watched it, people were screaming, like it was fucking loud, like screaming, panicking, running. Yeah, 100%. Okay, so I just sent you the Grok search for what I just looked up. I texted it to you. Can you pull it up on your computer?
Hang on. There's one more thing I want to address because I think I just found confirmation of it. It was brought up on the live stream today. So somebody brought up, and I have to search for more videos real quick to try to confirm it. But somebody had brought up that the video that shows, allegedly Tyler Robinson in the maroon shirt and his shorts arriving to the campus earlier that day, getting out in the parking garage.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly, again, I have to rewatch and confirm this. It allegedly shows him arriving, getting out of the car with no backpack on. And then when it was said in the testimony and in the transcript that he had ran into, met, and talked with, whether it was intentionally or unintentionally, with some TPUSA people. And then when you see him again later on camera, then he has a backpack. So it's like, at what point in time did he get this backpack?
Yeah.
So that's a big fucking deal if that's true. Again, even everybody else when the super chat came in, they were like, "Oh wow, we'll have to go back and confirm because none of them like caught any of that if that's true." So if
Oh,
that's
yeah.
true, like holy shit. But hang on, let me bring it up.
So that Mauser would have been a pre-68. So the screws in it, so the front guard screw was a flathead. Everything will be in that, what I just sent you. Yeah. Yeah. So that's pictures of the rifle and everything. It's wood stock, not a composite. That's a full breakdown. I looked up a whole part list and then had it show me the keeper screws, the handguard keeper screws. So
Bolt action, investigators, yep. Mauser, model 98, 30-06 Springfield. So it
it would have been a
says possibly pre-68, yeah.
yeah.
Serial number
Scroll down.
8863. So this is the one they're saying, this is the type they were saying to be used. Okay.
Yeah, that would have been the one that was used.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
Okay, now keep scrolling down. So that is the lower of it right there. Now keep scrolling down. So right there would be a full part list.
Okay.
That's every part for it. Okay. Now scroll down further. That is the keeper screws for it.
Okay. Cool.
So they are a flathead screw.
All right.
Just like I thought.
Good to know.
See, and whenever you said it was the star pattern, that's why it threw me off. So if it was that composite stock that it showed that was circulating, possibly that could have very possibly had the T series screws. So the T series are Torx screws, and that would have been a star, or it could have been an Allen screw, possible. But because knowing it was his grandfather's and it was saying before that it was the older model, which would have been that model 98, that would have been pre-68. So they would have never even had the T series or Allen screws in there. So if that gives you any information. What are you looking at?
Remember I told you about backpack or no backpack?
Yeah.
This video is very hard to tell. So look, this is him arriving, right? Now here's the front view. It's hard to tell, but it almost looks like he doesn't have a backpack on, right? You don't see any straps over his shirt, right?
Yeah.
But then when you get to about right here, it almost looks like it, but then it almost doesn't at the same time. But the video is just not that good. So I can't give a definitive read.
Okay.
I don't think he's wearing a backpack. You see, because it looks like maybe the shirt just kind of got a little puffy behind him, but you don't see a strap or anything.
I'm trying to see if I see a depression on his shoulder.
I don't see anything.
So I think I don't
look,
know. It's hard to tell
but
because
look,
it kind of
look.
looks like there's a depression.
But look, here's a little bit further back where you can kind of see the shoulder better. You see? And here's a little bit further back. Like, it doesn't look like there's a strap on either side. But again, it's such a shitty video. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, you can't
Can you zoom
really
that in?
not really. This is full screen, so it's like as good as it's gonna get. It's just God. But you see what I'm saying? Like, it's like
Look, if he's got a backpack on, it doesn't have a rifle in it.
Yeah. But look at the rest of the video. It was definitely Israel.
Oh God.
Yeah. But no, that is kind of weird because like it's hard to tell because like I said, like that video gets a little weird at that point, but it almost doesn't look like he's wearing one.
Yeah.
And
see,
then
at
on
that one
top of
angle,
that,
it looks like he does.
And then on top of that, why does he have why 2 different backpacks and then 3 different outfit changes? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Unless his handlers had, 3, 4 different people that looked like him all in that area. They essentially had multiple people that all looked similar in likeness.
Yeah.
Fuck, I don't know. It's a good way to have a good exfil. You know what I mean? If you've got 3 different people that look very similar.
Oh, okay. I need you to address this because I sent it to you. When I made a couple of comments on this video. This fucking dude putting together a 30-06, right? So let me go back. So I commented. So first of all, let's watch this dude, right? A guy who's clearly trained, knows how to do things like this, right? So it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, look at how he's holding it.
Yeah. You obviously know how to do this. Good on you. Obviously trained a lot. Good on you. I wouldn't expect you to not know how to do this in a very quick and efficient and oh shit manner, right? Now, I commented on it. It's like, sure. Now let's see the footage of it.
Hey, I just hold on. Let me point something out real quick. Pause it.
What?
Look at how the bolt's on the ground next to him.
Oh yeah, with the
tearing apart or putting it together. It wouldn't have had a spent round in it. Why the fuck would he put a spent round back in a disassembled rifle?
Well, like I said, the narrative on it is hard to find today because it's not clarifying whether or not it was broken down afterwards. So I'm saying. But regardless, what I said was, now let's see the footage of him putting it together because we don't see that. They say that, but we don't see that. Said, I guarantee you that if there is footage, which I doubt there is, the scope wasn't mounted because they're saying that the barrel of this fucking broken down 30-06, which is a long barrel, by the way, it's not short, was shoved down his pants, was why he was limping. Now, granted, this limping video of this person in the video, he loses track of which leg he's supposed to limp with because depending on which video is saying he has the wrong leg limping. 2, you can see the impression of his cell phone.
Hold on.
God damn it, shut up.
Let me play devil's advocate while you say that. You said he doesn't know what leg he's limping with. Now, so here's where I'm gonna play good prosecution on that. Prosecution would say, "Oh no, he's not switching legs on what he's limping on. Certain cameras were set on mirror feature, and some of them were not."
Well, you'd have to prove that.
Yeah, I know you would, but I'm just saying it is something that a statement that can be made, because if certain cameras are set to mirror, then it's going to be on his right leg. If other cameras are not, then it's going to be in his left leg.
Well, even then, on certain same cameras going upstairs, different legs at the same time in the same camera, you'll see his leg switch.
Oh shit! Okay,
Can't fake that one.
no,
Regardless, I said, because like I said, the barrel length on it is fairly long, right? When
Yeah.
it's broken down. Now, in this videos where you see him limping, right? You can almost pretty much see the imprint of his big ass phone in his pants because he's wearing like skinny jeans.
yeah,
But you see no imprint of a fucking rifle barrel, right? And so that leaves you to believe if there is a rifle barrel shoved in his pants, it's not going to have the scope on it, because you're going to definitely see some kind of imprint of something in there.
mm-hmm.
Now, I was like, if there is footage of it, which I doubt it, the scope wasn't mounted during assembly like how it's shown in the video. Most likely it was separate, probably in the backpack. Let's just play devil's advocate that this is exactly what happened, right? It's like, if so, if it would not have shot with such accuracy without being re-zeroed in, because it doesn't
Right.
matter if you put it right back where it was. That's not how this work. It's like,
Yeah.
and for him to be to do all of this as someone who's never killed before, who's never killed before, not like someone who's like a SEAL, Green Beret, MARSOC, someone who has been battle tested and can operate under that type of adrenaline and everything like that and keep their composure, right? To not go into an over adrenaline rush to a panic and fucking freak out, and then boom, shoot and hit it on the first shot.
Yeah.
As one bull fucking shit, right? And so then I get comments. All you have to do is etch the alignment on the rings with the scope with the scribe. When target shooters do a deep maintenance, this is a trick to get back in with the old zero. The scope doesn't have to be removed from the gun either, since it's mounted directly on the receiver. Care to comment?
Okay, so here's how I'm going to put that in a couple different scenarios. The shot was at 120 yards, 140 yards, right?
135-ish.
That's an easy shot. Okay, so with a scope, that's a zeroed scope, that's an easy shot. Okay, now he wouldn't need a super large optic on that, but I'd like to see what optic was on it to determine what was shoved in his pants and what wasn't. Now, if he tried to shove even that barrel with the optics mounted, that would be massive in his fucking pants. Like, especially if you think of your seam line. So where on that barrel, on the high side of that barrel, because he was wearing skinny jeans, right? I'm assuming he would take the muzzle of the barrel and shove the muzzle down towards his ankle. So that means his optic would be near his dick, right? There's no way he's going to fit that there. Okay. No, absolutely no way. Now,
And I just thought of another thing. Let's just say he did put the barrel with the scope mounted down his pants. You mean to tell me that he did all that and then pulled it out and remounted, and in the midst of all of that, trying to stuff it and unstuff it and then remount it, that the dials didn't shift at all?
Well, you've got dial caps on, so
yeah, but
I'm
again,
assuming he would have a dial cap on.
But again, with all of that the trying to do that, the caps didn't come unlodged, because again, that's a tight fit. You're trying to shove something in there, trying to get that off and everything. But again,
Now,
it's just
I,
one of those
I'm
things that
I'm
all
also say
the things
this.
are not gonna logically play out.
Yeah. So let's say hypothetically, okay, different rifle, obviously, but so on that rifle, you're gonna have your barrel, you're gonna have your optics mounted to a mount or a optic assembly on top of the barrel, on the high side of the barrel. Then you're gonna have your handguard to your stock underneath, right?
Yep.
Here's the thing. If on that rifle you took this barrel off the stock, okay, left the optic on, when because it's an old style rifle, when you put that stock back on or that barrel back onto that stock and you put the two screws in it, because that is on a wood stock, it's not perfect that you're going to get it lined up exactly how that barrel sat on that stock prior. And here's the thing about an optic. On these optics, you're in the thousands. You got to think one turn of this little optic right here, you know, is a lot whenever you look at your barrel shift or anything like that. So if he tightened it up and it was canted, let's say it was just canted off by a couple thousandths to the right or left, or it was over tightened down or not tightened down enough, that round coming out of the muzzle could have been high, low, left, right. The firearm looks like it's put back together perfectly. But whenever you're talking in the thousands, in the micro settings, just a little bitty shift is a lot whenever it comes to zero. Like,
Yeah.
if he screwed it in, too tight, that round might have dumped 2 feet. If he didn't screw it in enough, it might have been a foot to 2 foot high. If he didn't have it positioned exactly perfect, or let's say that he screwed one screw in before the other one and it actually cocked that barrel just to the left or right just by how he put the screw in, that round at target could have been anywhere from an inch to, a foot off. I'd have to do the math on it at,
Yeah.
130 yards, but easy, easy. Like I could do the math on it, but at 130 yards, it would be easy to put the round off target by at least a foot, if
Yeah.
not more, 2 feet, and probably further than that, depending on so many different parameters. Look, that's why our military spends so much money on our weapon technology systems, and our sniper rifles or long range rifles and such. The reason why those tear apart and go back together in the ways that they do is to really preserve your zero on a lot of them. And, you got to think on, like an AR, your upper clicks into your lower very specifically. So all you do is you set it on, it sets down, and the machining where your retaining pins are so fine that it's got to be in the exact same positioning to
Yeah. Yeah.
push it through, or it's not going to go through. You know what I mean? We're talking about a pre 68 weapon where they don't have the engineering in those rifles that we do in our current warfighter, rifles that are set up for, look, on this one, look, if you wanted to, make this one smaller, yeah, you can make it smaller, to an extent. Like this one doesn't have a super short barrel, but look, guess what? I'm not losing any zero. I just made it smaller. I'm not losing any zero. It's still zeroed, and the buttstock is folded down. He couldn't do that with that rifle. The reason why rifles are built like this now is to preserve your lethality.
Next comment didn't really address anything. Said, "You're assuming the shot he made was accurate. It likely wasn't. I doubt he was aiming for the far side of Kirk's net." That was just a stupid comment because it didn't address what I said. Next one, it says, "You are incorrect. Quality scope rings and mounts allow a scope to be removed and replaced very quickly without losing much of, if any, zero between 0 to 1 MOA. If he did lose 1, then that's 1.3 inches at 130 yards and helps explain the hit off center mass."
He's closer on, but that's on a newer rifle. I wouldn't say that on a pre 68 rifle.
Yeah, and we still have no idea what kind of optic was used.
Yeah. I would like to see what type of optic was used.
And then this last one, wrong. Great argument, buddy.
Well, I don't know.
But overall, my comment stands, and I am correct. It's just they're retarded. Ah, fuck. We need to wrap up. We can go on for hours.
Yeah.
But like I said, this has been like my life the past 3 days, and I'm gonna fucking watch again tomorrow, and I'm gonna watch again Friday because we invested a lot of time in this when this first started, and now we're getting to the point where this is it. We gotta.
Mhm.
It's insane, like it's crazy that it's here now. You know what I mean? But it's just like, what the fuck? So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's still sometimes so insane and unbelievable for me to believe that Charlie's actually gone, you know, and people that what's frustrating to me is that as soon as you say I don't believe the narrative that's surrounding this, then you get lumped into, oh, you're part of the candy cult for Candace Owens, right? Now, granted, yes, I watch Candace Owens, and I am right here saying on camera that there is a lot of shit that she has brought up that I don't think is value added, that I don't think holds any real water to this investigation. But I also believe that there is a lot more that does actually hold value and is way more towards of what's actually happening and what's actually trying to solve what happened to Charlie than this bullshit that the Utah and FBI and anybody else has done.
Yeah.
And we've even discussed it on previous episodes. Like, like I think that so personally, I think that there is something with Fort Huachuca, whether or not it's her story and everything with Mitch Snow. I don't know. I think that's a stretch, but I think there is enough. I think there's enough, because it's like, there's only so many coincidences that come across before it's like, is this actually something, right? Like,
Yeah.
Was it like once is a one time is a by chance, 2 times is a coincidence, 3 times it's like a conspiracy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's one of those things, right? And so, but like I said, I don't know as much as it goes down to exactly what she's saying with Mitch Snow. Now, granted, some of the stuff that Mitch Snow said ended up being true. To the depth, I don't know. It seems like a stretch, but there's the proving a negative is not necessarily the case here. It's like we can't prove that it's true, but we can't prove it's not true. It's kind of hard to be in that weird concept, right?
Yeah.
Then you have verifiable lies that have came out where everybody keeps saying like, but all the stuff that's been verifiable as a lie that has came out from TPUSA, Erica, Andrew Colvett, and Blake Neff, and all of them, nobody's ever addressed that. They've just kind of let that slide. They
Yeah.
only ever focus
Brush
on
it
like,
off.
oh, she just cares about Fort Huachuca and exploding mics and stuff like that, but they don't ever verify that they have all that there's been lie after lie after lie that has been proven, but they don't want to address that because then that makes them look bad. That hurts their narrative.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. Now, like we have our own theories. Me and you have had our own separate theories. We had our alternate alloy theory, which
Mhm.
I'm still not against it happened. I've just with what John Bray put out and what I've sent to you and what I've looked into, I hold a lot more confidence in the microphone theory just because what he did and what he analyzed and and everything he put out there, it's really hard to not give a lot of credit to it. He did a phenomenal fucking job investigating it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really phenomenal and for people to dismiss it. And then for that fuckhead Paramount No Testicles to be like, it's impossible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
So, and like I've said before, is it possible? Yeah. Do I think this is what happened? No, I think it was okay. I think that there's two other very large scenarios. And one is because, and I guess I'll get to it this way. They released Charlie's body to TPUSA and Erica within 48 hours. That's whenever
yeah, they had the autopsy or medical exam or
very
whatever done
quickly.
within less than 48 hours and then release the body.
Yeah, because there was already those videos of her in that personal moment of crying over his body in the
Well,
casket and
well,
all
I
this
think
stuff.
that was a couple weeks later, but yeah, because that was
No,
like
that was quick.
no, because that was right before the funeral. That wasn't right after that.
Okay, whatever. I thought I saw something about like a timestamp on it was um within like 48 hours after um the assassination. Okay.
No, not that video.
Okay. Well, so they would have had to do this rapid fucking autopsy, release it. So number one, I don't see they could have done a valid autopsy that quick. Number two is where's the autopsy? I want to see it. Is there another bullet hole that no one's talking about? Did he get shot from behind and was that an exit wound? Okay. That sounds more viable. Or did they use some sort of soft alloy that tore his skin? So short range, tore his skin, didn't have full penetration, was able to go in deep enough to kill him, but which could allude to why they can't find, very much um, alloy matter in
Yeah,
him, fragments of that round.
yeah, the fragment,
So
very small fragments. So
yeah.
the here, so and and Nate from Valhalla did a good breakdown of. Let me see if I can find it real quick, actually, because the medical examiner, I guess, what's been made public because again they haven't published what it is, right? We just I think seen or gotten snippets of what's supposedly in it. Um, and what they said is that the round went into Charlie's neck, went to the C2, and then tumbled down. Now, as you see here, this is where the entrance for the wound is. So it went
Mhm.
here, then went up to here, and then down. How the fuck is that supposed to happen?
So what
But
I look at that, I see
coming
that
from a downward angle, if this is, based off of where, quote unquote, Tyler took the shot, right? You see what I'm saying?
yeah. Yeah. So what I see that as possibly if he was shot from high rear, if that round did fragment, yes, fragments would have gone down, could have gone down his vertebrae, but the remainder of that round, the fragments would have blown out through the front, leaving that an exit wound right there.
Yeah.
And they're not disclosing where the actual entry wound is. Here's my thing. They're like everyone's talking about the 30-06 round and all this shit and how it could have stopped, and it's, around the reason why they used it is because it's 4 games, so it does very minimal damage and all that. Guess
Fuck
what?
you,
That
Cam
fucking round,
Hickey.
that fucking round is a heavy round that it holds a lot of grain. It carries a lot more fucking powder in it than a lot of other rounds in that class. It is a long range rifle with a lot of fucking power. And I've always used a 30-06, a Savage 30-06, because I
It
don't want
was
to chase
30
after a deer.
30-06 ammunition. Like when it was first developed, like for a rifle, it was developed as a sniper rifle for war. Like that's where a 30-06 round came from. So it's like, yeah, they gave it a different modernized look for different types of rifles and everything, but that doesn't change the ammunition and what it can fucking do.
Yeah. Yeah. So if I shoot a deer, hog, elk, whatever I'm hunting with a 30-06, it's because I want to drop that fucking deer essentially in its tracks. I don't want to chase it. I want a well-placed shot from whatever range I'm at. I'm going to hit it in the right behind the front shoulder. Okay. And it's going to blow out the whole back shoulder. It mangles it. And with them saying, well, people don't use that or wouldn't use that because they'd have to mount the deer. Guess what? Your fucking pelt stops right here before. It stops before the shoulder or right at the shoulder. You miss all that. So you don't have to have that. And then on top of that, a lot of these if you do have some sort of pelt damage, a lot of these good taxidermies, they'll use other parts of the pelt to either patch or whatnot. Like, why do you think that you can't see the fucking cut all the way up the fucking pelt that they stitch together? These guys are good at what they fucking do.
Yeah,
Like, look, there's a reason why I don't use a 25-06 or a 243 or, I guess a 270 is not bad, but anything like that. It's because I want to hit target. I want to fucking cause absolute maximal destruction. I want this motherfucker to drop, be dead on spot. I can go pick it up, field dress it, throw it in the back of the truck or on the 4-wheeler, get the fuck out. You know what I mean? I'm blowing out the fucking backside of that fucking deer because look, I'm not worried about eating that front shoulder. I got enough other good meat. Like I'm eating the backstrap. I'm eating fucking everything. Like, yeah, he's fucking idiot.
Hey, real quick, I just found this video just so we have it on here before we wrap up. But here's the proof that I was talking about.
Breaking news, the prosecution just told the judge they have nothing on Tyler Robinson. Take a listen.
Is there any footage of the alleged shooting?
There is not, Judge.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that.
I'd like to be crystal clear. You asked if there's any portion of this video that captures, I believe you asked of the actual shooting. There's no video of that. There is video, however, and you've heard testimony related to this, where the shooter goes to the top of the low-C building, goes out to the edge of the building, low crawls, and then leaves after what we assume is the shot being fired.
What? This is all they have? A dude jumping off the building?
Yeah.
Hmm.
They have no footage of the shot being taken. They have everything around the footage, allegedly, but not the actual shot. Conveniently. And people are saying like, well, no, that's not what they said, but that's clearly what they fucking just said. from the prosecution.
With all the cameras, how the fuck did they not even catch a muzzle flash? Look, we were at, this last weekend was 4th of July, and me and DJ were at a concert. So we went and saw like Collective Soul and Keith Urban and all of them. So we were at the Texas Freedom
Oh, you saw Collective
over
Soul?
Texas shit. Oh, it was really good. Well, bro, and we watched it on TV afterwards. We were on TV the entire time because we were front row. Like, you could see us the whole time, and it shows that the camera angles were on the artists, obviously. So they were on Collective Soul, and they were on Keith Urban, and everyone else that performed. But guess what? With the back cameras, it showed everything in the audience. It showed everyone, front row, very back. You would have seen a muzzle flash, like from their vantage points, because you got to remember, we watched videos after the fact, and we saw videos from over the top of Charlie Kirk that looked over the crowd, over the top of Charlie. You should have been able to see that shot on at least one camera.
Yeah.
In a society when everyone's got a fucking camera in their goddamn hand with these motherfuckers, you should have been able to see something. And there's nothing. That's, I call bullshit.
Okay. So,
yeah.
Any last closing remarks before we're done?
I think they're setting this up for a fucking mistrial or an acquittal or something. I don't fucking know. I don't see any way that the prosecution can win this case. All the defense has to show is reasonable doubt, and I think that just with the hearsay testimony and the what they're putting out there right now, it's already showing that there's too much reasonable doubt.
Yeah, definitely.
It doesn't matter what rifle was used. It doesn't matter anything like that. Whenever they're saying there's fucking, 2 different DNAs, Tyler's and his fucking furry, trans, whatever, boy, girlfriend, like there's just too much different DNA involved, and too many people can point the finger at too many people. There's not enough evidence there to say that he is the one that pulled that trigger.
Yeah, definitely. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. But most importantly, never forget, text forever, motherfucker.